I used to be a student athlete here at Madison College myself. I played on the men's basketball team from 2004 through 2006. Take this off. And now I'm a member of the UW Credit Union team, and I work here at the branch right here at Madison College. I've been working for the UW Credit Union for 3.5 years now, and I absolutely love it. And here's why, is because I get to go to work every day and help students such as yourselves and help you guys improve your financial picture. And it's really cool because the credit unions, our mission statement is to improve the financial well-being of people. And that right there is just another reason why I love working for the credit union. We're a not-for-profit organization, so that means we focus a lot on financial counseling and education. That's one of the reasons why our branch is here at the college and why Susan and I are in front of you today. So I'm here. This is my coworker, Susan Fortenberry. Susan, actually, we worked together here at Madison College for a while, but late last year her contract expired, and she ended up getting drafted to the UW Credit Union Northport team. You guys familiar with that Northport branch at all? Just across from the Madison Mallards baseball stadium there. It's a newer branch. So we're here to talk to you today about budgeting, credit, and fraud. And we're going to touch on our campus package that we offer students. It's a great way to get your foot in the door, start building credit, positive credit history, responsible credit history that you can use in the future upon graduation and down the road. And then overall is just how you can protect your money and be the most successful with the money that you currently make or plan to make. Being a former athlete myself, guys, I understand the busy schedules that you go through day to day, especially during your seasons and what is expected of you guys every day. So I just came up a quick list of those responsibilities. I just want to talk about them real quick. One is attending class. A lot of you guys probably have 4, 5, 6 classes that you have to go to. That's a time commitment right there. You throw planning, eating breakfast. What are you doing for lunch? How are you, buying your lunch? Are you going to the grocery store making your lunches? Are you going to eat out every day? Number 2 is homework and study. For each one of those classes, you have a lot of homework and studying that you're doing. You obviously need to get good grades to play, right? So you need good tools to do your homework and to do your studying. So how are you getting that done? Buying a laptop, where's that money coming from? 3 is the expectation of being at practice. A lot of you guys, practice 2-3 hours a day. After that, before that, you might have weight room meets, film studies. So that's a big time commitment as well. And then a lot of you guys, I'm sure, probably have part-time jobs, maybe even close to full-time jobs during the summer, during the off seasons, weeknights. And what are you doing with that income that you're bringing in? Are you just, are you spending it right away? Or do you have a savings account that you're saving up for something? How are you managing that money? And then lastly is, personal time. I myself, if it's all work and no play, I think a person will go crazy. So obviously, you got to get out, take your girlfriend, take your boyfriend out to dinner, whatever it is, have fun. So you're spending money in that aspect as well. And overall, finance plays a role in that. So every day, every week, every month that goes by, you guys are bringing in money, you're spending money. And how does that look? So another reason I'm excited and I like doing this is because I did not have the financial information that we want to give to you guys today. And I felt if I would have had that 8 or 9 years ago, I truly think my student athlete experience would have been just a little bit better if I would have had this information. All right? So our hope today is to pass this information on to you guys. So hopefully, give you guys some tools going forward to make your student athlete experience just a little bit better as well. I use the old quote is knowledge is power, right? So before we get started today, could I just get a feel of who's in the audience? And by a show of hands, who currently has a savings or checking account at any financial? Just by a show of hands. Great, that's terrific. So it looks like most of the audience today has some type of banking relationship established. That's really cool. Good for you guys. So before I turn this over to Susan, guys, we're gonna be asking for some volunteers. I kind of got some from the audience already. We'll have you come up. Nothing too crazy. We have some giveaways for you for your hard work and volunteering. So I'm going to pass the ball over here to Susan, and she's going to get us started. Thanks for your attention, guys. All right, here we go.
All right. Thanks, Riker. Thanks, you guys. Really appreciate you letting us come and talk to you again. We see some faces that we've seen before and some new faces. So again, we're going to talk about a few of these things. Identity theft. We're going to talk a little bit about personal banking. We know that you guys have established accounts. We want to make sure that they're properly established and you have a deep relationship with your financial. A spending plan as well as a credit history, which we talk on. I'm also going to invite you guys to give us a call. I have not supplied the handouts this time. I don't want to waste a lot of paper and I don't want to waste your time. Some of you may have a very good spending plan. We're going to find that out. But that being said, I have put a few sheets on that small table over there. There's some fantastic puzzle pins that evidently, according to Scott, give you a headache when you try to solve. But I'm sure you're smart, maybe even a little smarter than Scott, I don't know. Should I say that? So maybe you can solve those puzzle pins. Those are for you. My business cards are also over there just in case you have questions. You may not want to ask them today. You probably don't have time if you have a game, right? So please let me know. And we also have evaluation sheets, and I have a contact sheet. If you want to be contacted by us, please fill that out. If you don't, do not fill that out. So it's totally up to you, but we want to offer our services here. We are here in Madison College. We are the credit union is a part of Madison College. That's part of why we're here today, okay? Because we believe that education is super important. So we want to talk. I want to start first with identity theft. I usually end this presentation with identity theft, but I think this is super important. Anybody heard about the breaches recently? Just a show of hands. That you've heard, okay? So, who has let your information slip through the cracks? Say it louder. Target, yay. Anybody else? Michaels? Anyone else? Recently, Neiman Marcus. I don't usually shop there, but that's kind of a fancy store in some of the Chicago areas and stuff. So, 3 places in the past, what would you say? 2 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that? So we want to talk about protecting your information. And I want you guys to help me out with this, okay? So the first thing that I want to do is talk to Kelly Calhoun. Come on down. All right.
It's all good, Kelly. All right.
Okay, and then how about, come on up here, Kelly. Come in next to me. I won't bite you until I know you better. And then Dylan.
Who are you looking at?
Dylan.
Oh, cool.
Dylan, come on up here too. All right. Seriously, this will be easy. So what Riker did was go out into you guys and say, we're going to give $50 to anyone who helps us with this. Aren't you sorry you didn't volunteer? Okay. So the caveat was, if you volunteer, and I will give you $50, and you have to give me all of your personal information, okay? Because we got to track where this money's going, right? So what I asked for was name, address, date of birth, and social security number. All right, I think we know where we're going with this. Smart crowd, right? Now, Kelly did not fill this out appropriately because she failed to give me her date of birth. No, she gave me her date of birth. I see it now. I didn't recognize it. It's in 1995. And she did not give me her social security number. Kelly, you know you're going to get $50 if you fill this out. Why didn't you give me your social security number?
Because I don't know it, to be honest.
Sit down.
Say, Kelly.
No, I'm kidding.
Kelly.
I'm kidding. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Hang on a second. I'm kidding. All right. So first off, you should really kind of know your social security number. Just saying. Now, Kelly's not alone in this. Dylan, you also did not give me your social. Do you not know yours?
I know it.
Okay. Why didn't you give it to me?
I figured that there would be no reason that you needed my social security number if you're going to give me a check or whatever you want to give me.
Okay, okay, well, I'm telling you there's a reason. He's totally insulting me. I'm telling you there's a reason. So, I told you there was a reason. Why do you still think there's not a reason?
Because there's absolutely no reason.
So we're not giving you guys $50. All right, we're a not-for-profit organization. We are going to give you gift cards for $5. For Starbucks. Okay, thanks for participating, okay? But here's my point, okay? First off, they don't know me. Now, I know that Kelly doesn't know her social. But Dylan does, and he didn't give it to me anyway, because honestly, there is no real reason that I would need that. And I'll be honest with you, most of the people that we asked for this information from didn't give it to me. So you guys are a smart crowd. So you're smarter than the average bear when it comes to it. What I've done, promising $50, is no different than if you get an email, than if you get somebody to tell you, hey, I know Riker and I know Scott, and you can trust me because I'll be fine with this information. I did bring a shredder. We are going to shred the information because I had a few people did give me their socials. So keep in mind that when someone says, hey, we want you to shop for us for $50, or we're going to give you money for this, if you just give us this bit of information, you have no promise from anyone that you're going to get that money. And also, you have a lot to lose by giving your date of birth and your social security number and all of that information. So keep that in mind when these things come out. Thank you guys so much. So what I was doing, and Riker was helping, is I had a scam going, okay? These happen all the time. Has anybody gotten an email that says, hey, you won the lottery? Has anybody gotten an email that says, hey, I'm trying to get into this country and I have money and all I need is somebody to help me? You know, people don't just give you money for no reason, okay? So use your head when this stuff's going on, okay? You won the lottery. The other thing you see is cashier's checks. Say you're selling something, cashier's checks for more than you actually asked for. Who actually pays you more than you asked for something? It doesn't make any sense. So obviously, the thing to remember is if it's too good to be true, it probably is. You guys know this already. It's just reiterating this information to you. You guys are smart. So remember, your account is your responsibility. So if you have a checking account or a savings account, somebody gives you, say I gave you a check for $50, say I gave Dylan his check for $50, and then it didn't clear, it's his responsibility. He doesn't know me. He has to tell that person, tell your teller or whoever, hey, I don't know that person. It might be fraud. So make sure that if you're going to put it in your account, at least don't spend it until you know that it's clear. Don't ask the teller to tell you when it's going to clear, because Riker, do you know? Do you know when these checks are going to clear?
Nope.
No.
You
We have
don't
no
know.
idea, because we don't know if they're real or not. Some fraudsters use fake bank accounts that are actually real, that they're real banks, so they look very, very similar. So just be careful as far as fraud is concerned. Do you guys have any questions about that? Does it make sense? Does it make sense as of today? Great, awesome. So what can you do? I've actually put a list of preventative measures to keep your information safe. Keep your passwords changed. It's a pain. You have to have a new password for everything. But remember, if your Hotmail password, which is what I used to get on here, I know no one uses Hotmail, Gmail, whatever, if your Hotmail password is the same as your banking password, you might want to reconsider. So if you have to keep them written down somewhere, that's fine. Keep them someplace locked up. It's safe. It's the world we live in. But be careful about using the multiple ones, the same password for multiple accounts. Be careful what cards you carry. Even though poor Kelly doesn't know her social security number, I wouldn't recommend that she carry it with her. You're not going to accidentally walk down the street and retire. You'll know it's coming. So you don't need to bring your social security card. Don't share your passwords or PINs. Don't say, here, Riker, here's my debit card. Go get me. I want something from the den. Go get me.
And that's one of the biggest things that I see in dealing with students is one student will give their friend their card and their PIN. Oh, I just need to do this or whatever. And then the next thing they know, they come in the next day or the next week and they have a laundry list of stuff that's been charged to their account. So it's not a good idea.
Yeah, never a good idea. We will protect you. I can tell you that at the credit union, we protect your credit card and your debit card from liability. You're not liable for someone using it. But if you write, and we've seen this, people will take their debit card and take a Sharpie and write their PIN on it. Think you can remember 4 numbers? Yeah, it happens. If you do that, you just negated our ability to help you. So you just totally put that liability back on you when you give that information, okay? So don't do that. You'll remember it. If you forget it, come to the credit union, we'll reset it. It's not a big deal. So be aware of all that stuff. You want to sign your credit and debit cards. People say, no, I put CID. That's fine if you want to put CID, but if you leave your card blank, someone can pick that card up, sign your name, and guess what? The signature matches. So if you leave that card blank, that's going to be, it's all over, okay? Questions about fraud? All right, we covered it. Let's move on. Riker wants to talk to you a little bit about checking and savings. We already talked about, you guys have checking and savings accounts. That's great. We're really recommending that you have a deep relationship. You have an opportunity at this point to make the most out of your banking situation, to start credit now. That doesn't mean that I think that you should go out and charge on a credit card. That doesn't mean that I think you need to owe somebody any money, but you need to get it started. You need to get used to that behavior of having credit and being responsible for it. We think it's really important. At the credit union, we have certain things for you. Riker, you want to talk about that?
Sure.
So what we offer at the UW Credit Union, it's geared towards students. This is all entry-level stuff, all right? So to get an account at the credit union, being a student, you're already qualified to become a member. And all you need to start to get an account at the credit union is $6 and a driver's license, all right? So we have what we call a campus package, all right? So that's a savings account, and all you need to do is, so at the credit union, you're not a customer, all right? Like at a bank, you're a customer. You're referred to as a customer. You're a member at the credit union. Savings account establishes that membership. You open that savings account with $5. That's your membership savings account. That makes you a member. That gives you voting rights on the board of directors. Beyond that, then you can open a checking account. What's nice about the credit union accounts is there's no minimum balance requirements. We got a lot of students coming in. What's the minimum balance? $100, $200? What do I have to keep in there? Nothing. All right, nothing. What makes it the campus package is it ties in a student credit card, all right? So it's a Visa student credit card. It just comes with a lower level balance of $1,000. And then we call an overdraft protection account. So that's a credit-based account. It's basically an account that comes funded with $500 in it. And I use the term like safety net, emergency account. I recommend students, if you don't need to use that account, I always say don't go to the mall, take out that $500, go to the mall and go crazy. That's not what it's for. It's there for kind of emergency purposes. Say, your car breaks down today, you don't get paid until Friday, you need a new tire, all right? Go borrow from your line of credit, simple, and then you just pay it back. You pay it back. See you ladies, good luck tonight. So anyways, that establishes right there the campus package, the line of credit and the student credit card. That will start building your credit history. Nice thing about it is there's no fee to apply, okay? There's no annual fee. If you never use either of those two products, you're still going to be building credit history for yourself. All right, benefit of that is 2 years down the line, you want to go up to Don Miller and get a brand new car, finance it, okay? The better you will be for a better rate, and the more apt you'll be approved for the loan to get that. All right, and you're not relying on mom or dad to co-sign for you or your aunt or uncle. You can put your name down on there because you've been building that credit history for yourself. So the campus package, who's a member in here at the credit union? Some of you guys have a campus package already? Yeah? Cool. So some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Again, if you have any more questions in depth, come by and see us. We're right down the hall. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? Cool.
The other thing I want to mention too is if you have an account someplace where they're charging you a monthly fee, and you should know because you should be reviewing your statements, you don't have to pay for a bank account. There's a lot of places, not just UW Credit Union, but a lot of places that offer a campus package, something for students, and you don't have to pay. So if you're paying for that, there's no reason, whether it has to do with a minimum balance, whether just they want you to pay for it. Just keep in mind, if you have a joint account with your parents, if you're 18 years old, it's time to move on, okay? I think it's fine to have a joint account with your parents, but and a lot of times people, they put money into your account. They can put money into your account anyway. You can deposit, go right now to the credit union, deposit money in my account. Anybody can deposit money into your account. So realize that it's time to move on. It's time to take that into your hands and start learning how to budget, start learning how to pay your bills, if not now, when. Okay? So we're going to move forward into an even more exciting topic, budgeting. Everybody loves budgeting. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Liam Kellogg, is he in here? Liam, can you come up here and talk to me? Awesome. So the reason why I'm picking on Liam is I know that he has a job, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Liam, what do you do?
I'm a cook.
You're a cook. Okay. And how often do you get paid? Hey, I think it's awesome. Girls, cook. So how often do you get paid?
Bi-weekly.
You get a lot of money.
Enough.
Okay. So enough for what?
Enough to live within my means.
Okay. What do you buy?
Food.
Okay.
That's about it.
You just buy food.
Pay the bills.
Somebody, let's give Liam some money. So what about your clothes? You're a fancy dresser.
Thanks.
So do you buy your clothes?
My mom bought me this shirt.
She did a good job. Okay. So what else do you buy? Do you buy gas? Do you have a car?
No.
You don't?
I buy my clothes. I go grocery shopping.
Okay.
I buy my books.
Okay. You got a girlfriend? Your mom will let you.
Oh, she would love me.
Then she'd have a girlfriend shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're going to help Liam out a little bit and give him at least a little gift card that he can spend at Starbucks. Does that make things a little bit better for you?
Sure will.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for your participation.
Thanks, Liam.
Okay. So Liam is lucky and his mother buys him cool shirts, but he's gonna need to budget for other things. Okay. So we think you're gonna need to budget for other things too. There may be a few things. Not everyone is as simple as Liam and just buys food and clothes. Okay. So we want to talk a little bit about that. But as a really good example, because you guys are athletes, have you ever seen the ESPN 30 for 30? Anybody here? Okay. You guys may recognize this, but we are wanting to push through a few points here, which you probably can guess already, but I think it's a good video. We've got a couple of clips, and I'm gonna rush through them for you guys, and these are the main reasons, because even though Liam makes just enough, there are people that we know about, especially athletes, who have made millions of dollars, and it's not enough. You know what it's called? Can anybody shout out what this is called? Broke. So these people make $20,000 a paycheck, a little bit more than Liam, right? And they can't, they're living paycheck to paycheck. They can't wait for their next paycheck. So this is why we think this is so important, because if people can make $110 million in 13 years and spend it all by 33, or spend it all in 13 years, that's outrageous. So it doesn't matter how much money you make, right? It matters what you do with it. One of the things the guy said is, hey, you know, the season's 6 months. You're given this money for 6 months. You're expected, the athlete is expected to budget for the next 6 months. Now, for us, we're like, oh my God. I mean, for me, I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, of course I'd buy my mom a house. You know, $110 million, you still have to budget for it. These people could have put money in the market. These people could have made the right decisions without losing all of their money. So we want to talk a little bit about that. I know it's boring, but I'm trying to prove that it is a bit of a challenge. So I think it's a challenge for everybody. So here's what we'd like to do. We're going to talk to you about what a budget is. Now, obviously, it buys, you know, your food and your shoes and your clothes. It's a roadmap for your money. Okay, it tells you what you're going to do with your money. So when you get your paycheck, it's not just I'm going to spend all of this money and then I'll wait until the next time that I get a paycheck. Or if you're not working, I'm going to spend all this money mom and dad gave me, and then I'm going to ask for more of it, and then I'm going to ask for more of it. I get my student loan money. I get my student aid money. Woohoo! I'm going to make it rain. No, don't make it rain. Put it in your account because you got to pay for what with your school money? What do you pay for with tuition? What? What do you pay for with tuition? Help me out. Okay, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna look at my list. All right. Tanner. Sheev? Sheevy? Where's Tanner? Come up and help me, because nobody's answering my questions. Thanks, Tanner. Come on up here. Tanner, how do you get student aid?
No.
No. How do you pay for school?
I pay for half of it and my parents pay for half of
Okay, awesome. So you have a job?
it. I do in the summer.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm a lifeguard.
So just in the summer?
Yes.
That's the only time you have a job?
Yes.
Do you spend all your money in the summer?
No.
What do you do?
Put it in the bank.
Uh-huh, and?
Ask my parents for money when I need some.
Okay, so, but when you put it in the bank, you don't use it all in the summer, right? Okay, so what do you use that money on that you earn lifeguarding?
Clothes.
Clothes, okay, what else?
My tuition and my rent.
Okay, so your tuition isn't due in the summer, right?
No.
No, so you have to plan for that, right?
Yes.
Right, so how do you budget? Do you just know, okay, I just can't spend this and I'm not going anywhere? Or do you do little bit by little bit?
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, all right, great. So I think that's a smart idea, so that you don't make it rain, right, in the summer, and then you have nothing in the wintertime?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. All right, well, let's help you out with a gift card.
Gracias.
Thank you, Tanner, for sharing that. So I would suspect that's what most of you guys do, right? You know that it's coming. So what you need to do is think about your budget as 3 steps, basically. You've got one, you've got to figure out what you've got coming. I know Tanner gets money from lifeguarding in the summer, and his mom and dad give him money, okay? I know that that's how he makes money. So you have to analyze your income. I would guess that maybe he gets money for his birthday. I would guess that he gets money for other holidays. So you have to take all of that as income and then figure out what you're going to use it on, what your expenses are, if you have to pay for housing, if you're not living with the folks. Food, I keep hearing from you guys, food and clothes. So you can't just, if you spend all your money in the wintertime, you don't have any money for shorts. If you spend all the money in the summertime, you don't have any money for snow boots, right? So you need to budget these things, all right? I think Anton Walker could have used a little bit of budgeting. Okay, the thing is you need to track your spending. You can do that if you have an account with a financial, you can track your spending. You can figure out what you're spending money on. It will track it for you. I know you do credit union, the people that have those accounts, and there's other ones. Summit Credit Union has money tracking tools. There's all kinds of tracking tools. Mint.com, anybody ever heard of that? Money, Quicken and Money. So you can track all those tools, because the thing is I can say today, I'm going to spend $100 this year on gas. Is that reasonable? I know you don't know where I live. I know you don't know where I work. Well, you know where I work. But just saying $100 this year in gas, that's not reasonable, right? So if I don't know how much money I spend in gas, how can I save for it? How can I track for it? You're going to have to track your spending in order to know that. So that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is know ahead of time what you're going to spend money on, and then track that so you know what it is, and then you have the money to spend for it instead of putting it on credit cards, instead of borrowing money or asking mom and dad for it. So you want to do that. The last thing you want to do after you track it is to analyze it. So is $100 enough this year for me for gas? No. How much is enough? So you figure out how much is enough, and then that's what you're going to save, and that's what you're going to spend. If that doesn't work, if it's not enough gas, if I run out of gas money, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like Tanner, I'm not going anywhere. So you want to find a place where your spending leaks. You want to see what that is. We have budget papers. That's another thing that I have over here on the counter. If you want to just see how much money that you're spending on a weekly basis, you can't find the leaks until you know what you're spending, until you track that information. Questions about that? Does that make sense? All right. Fantastic. This is one other thing that's part of budgeting is SMART goals, okay? Setting SMART goals, yes, they're brilliant, but they're also specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-oriented. What I mean by that is, if I'm going to save $1,200, I'm going to do that in a year. I'm not just saving $1,200. I'm saving $1,200 by putting $100 aside every month, by putting $25 aside every week. I can measure that. I know exactly how much it is. It's action-oriented. I'm going to put it in my savings account. So I'm saying what I'm going to do. I'm taking it out of my paycheck, I'm putting it in my savings account. It's realistic because I can afford that, and it's time-oriented. I'm saying I'm doing it in a year. I'm also time-oriented where I save this much money on a weekly basis, this much money on a monthly basis. So make sure you're doing that. If you're saving for something, this is a lot easier than trying to come up with the money right away. Okay.
And I got something to add. They need the computer for that.
Oh, okay.
So we gotta move the computer, but this is kind of relates to setting goals. Does that sound familiar? Like in your sports, you start the season, set a goal maybe to win conference, or set a goal to win, go to the national tournament. And then within those goals, there's discipline, right? You guys can relate to that as an athlete, short and long-term goals. And then throughout that season, you got to have discipline to reach those goals. So kind of related to the same thing with finances. I want to save X amount of money in this time. That's how I think about it, and that's why I'm successful, I think, in saving money. So just a little tip on that one. What do we got next here?
Okay, so now we're going to move into credit.
Go ahead.
All right, so now we've talked about budgeting. We've got that all done. Now we're looking at credit. So who has a credit card? Good. Great. You guys use it responsibly? Of course you do. Of course you do.
Somebody just lose their card, they say?
Who did somebody said they lost their card? What'd you do? Why can't keep track of it? Cause why?
Have you checked the history on it? All right.
You have. You checked the history. Nobody's used it. Okay. Good idea to keep those. Your financial institution does not like it when you lose your cards. We will replace them a couple of times before we start charging you. Why would we charge you? Because we don't want you to lose the card. Okay. Set you up for fraud. Now again, most people use Visa, MasterCard. You're put at a 0% liability for fraud. But I want to talk a little bit about credit. A lot of you know this already. This is a perfect time. Build credit now. This is the time to do it. You are students. A lot of financial institutions will give you a card. If they don't, maybe look at a different financial institution, okay? We'll give you one. My card's over there, okay? So call me, I'll give you a credit card, all right? Credit cards and lines of credit as well, overdraft protection, is really important to develop credit history. Here's what happens. After you are a student, you no longer have the ability to get credit with no credit. Has anyone been turned down for a credit card? Yeah. Probably because you had no credit, right? All right. So what happens is ideally you can't have credit unless you get it, and you can't get it unless you have it, right? It's different for students. A lot of financial institutions feel that students, even though they have zero credit, they are committed to something. They're committed to school. You guys are committed to several things. School. You're also committed to your athletic association. You're also committed to probably a few other things. So we feel like you're committed to something, so that's why we take a chance and give you guys a small credit card. A lot of financials will do that. Some won't. If you're at a financial that won't give you one, look elsewhere, because once you graduate, that window shuts. Okay? So if you don't have credit at that point, you're like, hey, I got this really awesome, it's terrible to see, but hey, I got this really awesome job, I just graduated, I have all this money. You'll feel like a professional player because you'll have all this money and you don't usually have this money. That's why it's important to learn to budget now. But you'll be like, I'm going to go buy a car. I have a really great job, I'm going to go buy a car. You're going to get turned down for that car, not because you don't have the money. You have the money. The problem is you don't have any credit. No one has ever seen you have a card or something that you were responsible for, and you were good at it. Okay, we're looking for somebody that's good at paying on time. Certainly you want to pay your bills on time. That's certainly important. But there's a few other things. Length of credit history. That's another thing that you have to have. So take this opportunity now to build a little bit of credit. You don't have to use the credit card. There's a lot of misnomers, and I want to get this clear with you guys. You don't need to keep a balance on a credit card to build credit. All right? I have a lot of people that say, oh, I need to keep a balance on this and pay it off monthly. No. Why would I not want you to keep a balance on a card and pay it off monthly? Okay. I'm going to the list. Let's see. Paige Geezy. Calling Paige Geezy. Come on up. No one's answering my questions. So, by proxy. Thanks for coming up, Paige. How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Good. Why do you think I would not want you to keep a balance on a credit card?
Don't you just want to pay it off right away?
Well, do you? Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
I think it'd be better for your score.
Yeah.
Pay it off right away.
I think it is better for your score. Also, what happens if you don't pay your card off right away?
Don't you get interest?
You do. You do indeed. Yeah, that's a good idea. Do you pay all your cards off right away?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. You find that, and so what do you do to pay your cards off right away? How do you remember to do that?
I don't know, you just do.
You just do? But do you get a bill? Do you set a reminder for yourself?
Usually get a bill in the mail.
You get a bill in the mail? Okay, awesome. And you pay it right away with a check, or do you go online and pay it?
You can do both. I do check, but
Check or online, okay. So, how much credit limit, and I am not trying to defraud you here. I know nobody trusts me now. How much credit do you have on your credit card?
I don't know. I don't use it very often.
Okay, so what kind of balance do you typically keep?
I don't know. I usually use debit, so I don't use credit.
You ready? Not very much, okay. That's fine. You're building credit just fine.
Okay.
Absolutely. Do you have a line of credit too? Do you have overdraft protection?
Sure. I don't know.
You don't know. Find that out, Paige. That's really important.
Financial
I know
awareness.
my social security number though.
Okay, you know their social. Wrong question.
Good.
Okay, all right. Well, let's give her a card. This poor thing's embarrassed.
Thanks.
Thank you,
can buy
Paige.
yourself or one of your friends a copy. Thank Paige. So what Paige is doing is absolutely right, and I would recommend you guys get some financial advice from Paige. What she's doing is she's paying off her card as she goes, okay? So when you use your card, you need to pay it off. The reason I ask about her credit limit, and the reason why it's important for Paige to know as well as you guys, is your credit is affected by what kind of limit you keep on your card, okay? And here's why, is because it's affected by how much money you've used on your card. So never more than 50%, okay? So if I have and everybody can help me with this one, if I have a $1,000 limit on a credit card, how much should I have on that card at any one time? No more than 50%. I know it's tough and it's late. 500, thank you. So no more than 500, no more than 50% of the card, because 30% or 1/3 of your credit score is based on how much credit are you using, okay? You've heard the term, I've maxed that out. That means you just put everything on that card, okay? It's gonna make it much tougher to pay off, okay? But the idea and the thing to remember is you don't have to keep a balance on the card to actually build credit. And the reason why I don't want you to is it costs interest, right? It costs you money. So why would I recommend you do anything that costs you money? You're gonna pay interest later on in life for your car loan, for your home equity loan, for your boat loan, for your SUV loan, for your ATV loan, name it, you're gonna pay it. So don't pay it now. You can be responsible enough just by charging something and paying it off every month. And you can do that online, you can do that with your checking account. A lot of people just transfer money, so you can do it that way too. Questions about that? About a credit card, questions about credit? Yes?
I have a car loan. I mean, let's say if I miss like one day of it, does it affect my credit?
So if you miss, you have a car loan and you want to know if you miss a payment one day late, does it affect your credit? That's a great question. No, it does not. Okay? Yay! You're still in your grace period. No late charge for you. Most financials, and I would say, if not, I don't want to say all financial institutions, but when you sign for that car loan, do you remember seeing something that talked about a grace period, like a late charge if you didn't pay in a certain period of time? Okay, so well then if it's from the credit union, I'll tell you. You read something that tells you that you get 10 days before your payment is late. So if you were due on the 12th, you have until the, thank you, 22nd before you get a late pay. Now here's the thing, some people can't quite make that. The categories for late payments on your credit report start at 30 days late. So I'll tell you, unless you're 30 days late, you may get a late fee. If you paid 15 days late, you're going to get a late fee. However, we're not going to report that to your credit bureau. So most places give you 30 days to make the payment. So although it's not a great idea to be late, you've got a little time, okay? It's a really good question, because you know that some people do freak out and say, oh my gosh, I'm one day late. We're not going to report that to the credit bureau. Most people won't report that to the credit bureau, okay? Yeah? Sure?
Collection.
Yep.
Another question. How long will that, like, if you paid off the collection, how long does it take for the credit score to go back?
Okay, so if you have a collection, how long does it take for your credit score to recover? It's hard to say. It depends on if you have one collection or multiple ones. Ideally, you don't want any collections on your accounts. If you think you may have collections, you want to pay them as soon as possible. You do want to have your financial institution pull your credit. We do credit consultations at UW Credit Union. So if you think you've had a collection or there's something that you aren't paying and you think it's detrimental, let us know. We can do that for you. It's not clear. What happens is your credit will recover after you pay that collection, usually about 6 months. It takes time for it to recover. Right, long time, right. That's why it's so important for you to not have collections and not have late payments. A late payment can set you back 6 months, okay? And you're building credit from the time that you're current on forward, okay? So it takes some time. So the best thing to do now, let's talk about that for a second, because I see collections on a lot of people's accounts, and a lot of people will have medical collections, okay? Medical collections is basically where your insurance person or people or company didn't pay the hospital, okay? Now, medical collections aren't viewed as terrible, as awful, awful, awful. It's different than, say, you go to Best Buy. If you go to Best Buy and buy a TV and never pay for it, that looks terrible. There's nothing that you need at Best Buy. At a hospital, you broke your arm, you hurt yourself, whatever happened, you had to do that. So medical collections don't look as severe on your credit as, say, a credit card bill that's delinquent. But that's another reason to check your credit report. Has everybody seen a copy of their credit report? Even if you have no credit, you want to have that checked, okay? Annualcreditreport.com, not freecreditreport.com. Freecreditreport.com is not free. So annualcreditreport.com is where you want to go, or go to your financial institution, tell them you want a copy of their credit report, and if they won't give it to you, call me or Riker, okay? That's one thing that we do at the credit union to help people understand their credit. So make sure that no one's helped themselves to your credit. A fun fact, 70% of credit reports are wrong in some way, shape, or form. 7 out of 10 people that sit down in front of me, they have a credit report that's incorrect, okay? And half of those people can have something on it that's wrong. If you have something on your credit report that's wrong, it needs to be fixed. You can fix it. It's called a dispute. And you don't want to just wait and see if it falls off or whatever, because it won't. So you want to really be responsible for your credit and make sure that it's good. You're paying your bills on time. Did I have another question in the back? Yeah?
If I have a car loan right now, would you recommend still getting a credit card?
I think it's a good idea. One of the things in your credit is a mixture of credit. Now, as students, you don't have a huge opportunity for a mixture, okay? It's great that you have a car loan. That's actually building credit for you very well. I still would add a credit card in there as well. Here's why. So they want to see a mix, okay? The students, really, your opportunities are credit card, line of credit, student loans, okay? You can add car loan to your mix. So get a couple of different types of credit. As you get older, you'll add a mortgage, or you'll add something like that. So we'd like to see a couple. Eventually, I want to see everybody with a couple of credit cards, and then they can show that they are credible. They have credit. And then the people give you anything you want. So I do think it's a good idea. But good, it's good that you have that. I'm glad you mentioned that. There's one other thing I want to mention. Eventually, when you graduate, whether you stop here or you go further and a little bit more education, you're probably going to have student loans. If you don't, that's awesome. If you do, you're going to have to get those student loans all together. There's something called a consolidation that I want you to think about. And I just want to touch on it because you're not really in that place right now. If you're at least taking 12 hours, oh, that's not even right. I think it's part-time, so that's 6 hours, isn't it? So if you're 6 hours or more, you can actually defer your student loan payments. So you may have student loans, but you're not paying on them right now, okay?
6 credits or more, yeah.
6 credits or more. So that's at least part-time. So if you're at least part-time, you can defer your payments until you're out of school. But eventually you'll have to pay those. And when you do, you're not going to have the money to pay them the way they are on your credit bureau right now. Because what happens is if you're taking one every semester or one every year or even more, they're going to add up. So you're going to have one loan and then another loan and then another loan and then another loan. And you don't want to pay those all individually. You need to consolidate or kind of clump them all together. So we're going to bring them all together and make one affordable payment. Keep that in mind. You're going to have to do that if you have student loans. You're going to have to do that. UW Credit Union does that. Other financial institutions do that too. Come to us and ask us those questions. We are a resource right here in this building. So if you have questions about your finances and you have 5 minutes between classes or 10 minutes between classes, Riker would be absolutely happy to talk to you. I'm a little bit further up the road, but you can call me too, okay? So keep that in mind. Those are those financial responsibilities that you're going to have to deal with later on. Probably not now, but a little bit later on. So keep that in mind that you do have a resource. Use your financial institution. Make sure you're asking them questions. Hey, I have these student loans. I need to consolidate. What do I need to do with these when I start making repayments? Because that is a part of your credit history, making those payments on time. I have a lot of students that after it's deferred, after their student loans are deferred, they just kind of let them sit there. That is those late pays. Those end up showing as late on your credit bureau. So you're really kind of destroying your credit before you even get out of the gate. So make sure that you're on top of those. If you don't know about them, ask your parents. A lot of parents will fill out applications for students for their student loans. Does that sound familiar? If it does, make sure you're talking to your folks and say, hey, how much money do I owe? When is it due? What did you take out for me? Some of them are their responsibility. If they took out parent loans, then it's their responsibility. Otherwise, it's your responsibility because you're the one that actually took the loan out. All right, questions about that? All right, really good questions. So rule of thumb here is simply to go make sure, don't skip payments on your cards. One of the biggest things that people think is if they pay a little bit more, say you have a payment to make and you pay a little bit more, can you skip next month? If you pay more on your credit card, your car loan, can you skip next month? No, absolutely not. A resounding no. You have to make those payments every single month. Okay? So, I'm going to wrap it up. Fraud, right? Keep your information private. Let us know if somebody has stolen it. Let people know. File a police report. Call your financial institution. Let them know your credit cards are gone or they're stolen. You can't find them. It's better to close it than to have it out there in the world. Use your financial institution. Use your use your savings account. Use your checking account. Make sure you're tracking your expenses. Also, if you don't have a credit card, you haven't started any credit, do that now. All right. Make sure that you're budgeting your money. Much better to budget it than not. I have a lot of information on the table over there if you need help with making a budget, making a plan. And then lastly, keep an eye on your credit. Make sure you start some. Make sure you keep those payments on time. You'll never have any problem. We'll give you anything you want. As a banker, I love it when I see people with on-time payments. This is exactly what I like to do. Last chance to come up here. No, I'm kidding. Last chance for questions.